Hello, and welcome to Jarviskjir Narashiro Nights. That's the show we're doing today, not the other one. I remembered that moments before saying it. We have a good time here. We always have nice, fun pre-game chats. How's everyone doing? Aside from tired, because that's the go-to answer at all times. We know we're tired. We're millennials.
I'm good.
Good, thank you for asking.
Good. I'm not tired. I slept forever today.
Are you sure?
Yeah. And I got a monster, so it's all good.
That's like cheating. We have no VOS today. For now, he might show up later, confusing everything. But I can't say no to that face.
I can't.
But I can say no to that face, who is going to tell us what happened last week. William!
Many things.
Because I don't really remember. So you're going to tell us. Thanks.
So,
That
first
is
of all,
some Underdark shit.
look, the Beetle system is getting a little louder these days. One thing we've learned. What did happen last week? Ollie? I have no idea.
It feels like we missed a week, but we haven't. It's a
It
weird...
really does.
It's a
Did
weird
I miss a
time
week?
loop.
No, I missed a week beforehand.
Yeah.
What happened last week?
Last week was the.
I yelled at
encounter with
Raka.
You yelled at several people.
Oh, right! And I blamed Voss for all of my problems.
Yeah.
Right. And I stole a sword. That happened. Yeah.
So, last week you continued on your quest to find anything about where Tanuma is. You ended up finding her quite a ways away from the city, Tanuma 1, who was horribly injured by the Wednesday party.
Whoops.
And yelling, screaming, scheming. You're not going to get any help from her. You got a couple of information bombs, but nothing game-changing. And you pretty much went back home with a lot of emotional, lumpy conversations.
And a sword that wasn't mine.
Yeah, you stole a sword.
I did. Yeah. We'll find out what that does eventually.
I remember what I was doing at the end of last time now. Okay.
Good, because I don't.
Oh, yeah, the performer girl wanted the dragon head back, but Yuna has repurposed it.
That's gonna be
Not
a
getting
super exciting conversation if she ever finds me. I'm
She won't.
genuinely looking forward to that.
Oh no!
That's terrifying.
So really, the question is, what are you guys doing?
We have so many plans.
I know.
First, I have one
I have so
question
many
because I was gonna get this question by the thing. I went and got Torum's body because I was gonna ask a question before the end of last session, but then roleplay happened and I let it happen.
Oh, you did drag Torum's body away. I remember that.
Yep.
Yes.
Specifically, I remember seeing the runes on the inside of the alive thing glowing, and the runes were there, and
In
on
the
the
bar.
inside, yeah, in the bar, yeah, and the runes were like I could see they were magic.
Yeah.
They were where the magic was, and those runes aren't inside the Tanuma one.
They are inside Eve. No.
I want to see if they're inside Torum and inactive, or they're just flat out gone.
That's an Arcana check.
Okay.
I don't know how. I don't have the dice like up anywhere on my screen. I was like, where am I looking?
It was average.
It was, yeah.
Just
I
a
have
brief
+6,
check
so I
tells
got
you nothing. This might need to be a downtime activity. But what you do get from that brief check, because you are smart, of your knowledge of constructs, which is not your specialty, but just magical devices in general, this is inert. This is an inert thing.
Yeah.
It is correct to call it dead, you know.
Just gonna admit that thing to. I'm just not gonna keep that to myself. That terminology, maybe.
Yeah. So, with downtime, what is it that the party and House de Vescos would like to do?
I have several things. So
Also have several
I
things.
will
Do
I will
you
let
gonna-
anybody who wants to go first.
Bear in mind that there's also, order to stuff. So, let's go week at a time.
Okay.
Oh, this is gonna happen in like a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also have a
Well-
couple of days as well, so.
I don't think this will take too much time.
Okay. One of my day things, just because I'm going to jump in here, is I want to go and find an armor smith, like a leather worker specifically, and I want to take the Grick bodies that we have, and I want to
Sell?
carry those with me. And, well, actually what I'm looking to do is trying to get some studded leather made with a reduced cost due to the materials, essentially.
Would you want that made out of the Grick armor, or just use it for barter? The Grick bodies.
I kind of want it made out of the Grick leather, which I know will take time.
It also will cost more, but that's fine.
Okay. That's
There
also fine.
is a advantage to this.
I am looking forward to hearing what that advantage is.
All right. I am looking for the armor section of the book. Studded leather is 45. Let's say 25 to get. It's you're giving him the bodies as well as this could be translated. And this is a good, a pretty good deal for them. You actually end up going to the place with the well from quite a few sessions ago, because that is a little butchers and tanners and leather workers sort of circle. It's kind of like a circle of businesses that all kind of interwork with each other. And they're more than happy to help and work on such things, because Grick, most of them pretty good quality and intact.
Nice.
So it can be worked.
I also am hoping to give them a few of the Velociraptor teeth to put into the studded leather as well, just as an extra fanciful thing. I was going to give them 5 of the Velociraptor teeth to just have like one row of Velociraptor teeth as studs, just as kind of a fun thing in case someone happens to punch that spot like an idiot.
Okay.
Ouch.
Just look, mostly for aesthetics. I'll be real.
It's
an aesthetic.
You're getting couture armor made for you if you want to have Velociraptor teeth.
I'm a big boy who needs some custom armor, and I want it to look good. That's all.
Noticeably, the drow in the leather workers does not measure you and doesn't want to measure you.
That's okay.
Figure it
I
out.
actually hand him a sheet with my measurements, because I have those, because I've done experiments on myself.
Fair. That's very useful.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're right. That takes, probably better half a day, because you probably make a bit of a trip of it.
Oh yeah.
So
I want to look around a little bit too.
Yeah, you're going off another side of town.
Exactly.
Having a good time. Noticeably, Voss is off working on stuff. He's not just NPCing around. As much as I would love the meme of you guys spend like 3 weeks in downtime and Voss is just meditating the whole time, he is doing things.
Just pissing behind a tree.
So,
Ooh.
what's the first thing you would like to do, Aaron?
I would like to use my position of privilege to meet with the new head of whoever is controlling the alchemist district of Narashiro. Because we killed the old one.
We did do that.
I assume there's a new one.
So, when you go and ask around there actually isn't.
Okay. I probably would have asked gone through my brother, because he knows about these things more than I do.
Yes, he would tell
Rather
you
than
that.
physically go on the streets and ask around.
Okay, so you wouldn't go to the physical streets. And
physically.
just okay, yeah, he would be fine to kind of do that research for you, and would pretty much relay to you that it was kind of an unofficial leadership.
Okay.
There isn't really a alchemy guild or anything like that. There used to be.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of has been dissolved a little bit. So there's not really anyone in charge, and people are just kind of doing their own thing in that little alchemist and herbalist area.
So if people needed like healing immediately, who would they go to? I don't imagine there's like a formal hospital.
Well, there would be infirmaries in the city.
Okay.
There would be essentially, well, one of the places that you actually had that fight was an infirmary as well as a herbalist shop. So this would be one of the places you would want to go, but that would probably be for the less than emergency cases. Like, okay, I got stung by something, I'll I'll come down here. But there would be
for like more like emergency, like any healing now. Like high-end establishment.
In your part of the city, in the noble part, there absolutely is houses of healing that would probably be run by the Serpent Church.
Okay.
That's kind of their domain. But this just being the way the city is, there would also be independent healing houses as well. But there isn't really a. Actually, no. Why don't we check if there's even a surgery guild in the rulebook? Actually, there's not much in the way of surgery officially done in this city. It's usually magical healing and administering potions and things.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I think you'll find that there's a little bit of surgery happening, though it's not always voluntary.
There's no organized surgery. Because interestingly, on the surface, you're more often to walk into a infirmary and see a surgeon than a healer. Or, as I described with Ian's character in the Mondays games, a herbalist's job is mostly making ointments for people's rashes. You get a little bit less of that here.
Alright, so I'm gonna pick one and make a meeting with them.
Yeah, let's say that there is a main healing church in kind of your part of the city. It would be a little bit higher. Whereas your part of the city, there's still areas that kind of grow above. This is like... this church almost makes up the spire of one of these castle tips. It's quite impressive with the almost emerald greens of the tiles that make up the parapets and towers and things like that. And you have yourself of high standing. You can absolutely go in and seek.
I'm also going to try and convince my brother to come with me, because that's funny to me.
He would. He would ask.
I would say it's a business venture.
Yes.
And Torum is dead, and Boss is gone doing something, and I'm alone in this world, so you have to come with me.
Describe business venture.
Essentially what I want to do, Ollie, is I want to sell these temporary healing potions that I have that last 24 hours to people who can get them immediately. And my goal, because they're so cheap for me to make, is I would sell them at 1/5 the cost of a normal healing potion, but then they could turn around and sell them for full price, right?
Okay. That's a system. He would come with you. In part, you don't have a bodyguard anymore.
It's a good sibling bonding time.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily appreciate that. But also, it's there's something about your brother is that he always is willing to act above his station, especially going to the more noble parties and get-togethers and things. And this healing church is a very noble place, being where it is and who can afford to go there. So that's kind of more why he's willing to go there. So he would join you. You would enter this grand entry chamber that is far more for display than it is necessarily for like A&E. They have a lot of fountains and fresh water flowing. It's literally a place that sometimes people of high enough standing will come here to just get fresh water. Not to take away in buckets, but to sit, drink, and be very sensible. It's a very drow hospital in that you cannot see, hear, or smell sick people.
Oh, good.
They are away. They are out of the way. There's almost a hotelishness atmosphere about the place. It's a fancy rich people hospital.
Yeah.
You go up, there's art, there's music playing, there's someone playing the harp.
It's the hospital in Hitman.
It's the hospital in Hitman.
There you go. Yeah.
Most of the people working there aren't wearing full-on, priestess robes and things like that. It's kind of an in-between that and a more formal, almost suit wear, business wear kind of stuff. You would approach, and Jericho would have arranged for a meeting because he is sensible. And you would go in to talk to one of the high priestesses here, where you will describe your scheme, I imagine.
Yeah, it's not a scheme.
It's a bit of a scheme.
It's a perfectly reasonable business venture.
Yeah, it's also, quite a good idea.
Also, something to note, the potions that I make, I can also improve and make them better than standard healing potions. They automatically heal for max.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Alchemist feat. It's good.
Does that take time, or is that just instant?
It takes a short rest. So the idea is that at the beginning of the night, or at the end of the night before, I would extend my spell slots, what I have left. Spend
Send
like
them
5
off.
hours bumping them up in the morning, probably, and then sell them.
Yeah. So what they can do for you here, the Healing Church, is essentially set up a system, because understanding that this is based on your own arcane power, where you can essentially drop off with a courier who will show up every morning, however many you have, and they'll pay accordingly for that. Alchemist fee.
All right. I will ask that they buy at least 5 each time, and also pay full price for any major healing potions I bring to them that last the 24 hours, right? And in exchange, I will bump those up as well, although that increase is temporary up an hour. But they can probably
That's
sell.
absolute, emergency situation.
Yeah.
So there's value to that.
Significantly more powerful.
Yes, exactly. There's massive value to essentially having a super strong healing potion on ice for a short period of time. Yeah, but I'd be happy to do that.
I would like to sign the contract for 1 year.
Okay, that's I was like, well, that's quite short.
It is quite short. I'm willing to go higher if they want to go higher.
Jericho would be sort of speak your side of this one. A year for a young lady finding her place in the world is appropriate. She often does business for the house outside of the city. There's, who knows what the future might hold for such a talented young arcanist. I
will also offer an exclusivity in the contract where I will not sell potions to outside of this church.
And another thing,
I'm not going to flood the market, essentially.
That's good.
Or become a competitor.
Another thing Jericho basically demands is added to this contract is that you guys have a priority in being served in this establishment. House de Vescos members have a priority here if necessary, which they are reluctant, but he's surprisingly convincing. You notice that he is essentially casting minor charm spells on this person every now and again.
Yeah.
Very subtly, under the table, essentially.
Our boy Jericho putting in the work. Love to see it.
He's not the only. You're not the only person who can cast some spells. And that contract can absolutely be signed.
Nice.
And that's a really good idea. And how I'm thinking the Discord chat for this game is we need to figure out a way to make some money. It's hold my healing potion. I got a system. And this is one of the cities where this plan can absolutely work because they understand it and it's healthy and they need it.
All right, excellent. So I'm going to do that then. I will try to sell all 8 that I have on me at the moment.
Yeah.
Although contractually they're only required to buy 5.
They'll buy them all as a goodwill, so 5 for
Yeah.
each.
Mhm.
I mean,
So that's 10 gold apiece.
10 gold apiece. Okay.
Because
Sure.
it's going to be 1/5 the cost.
1/5 of the 50 gold.
1/5. My
That's-
dumbass
wow.
brain thought a fifth of 50 was 5.
Mm.
Because 5. No,
Right.
10 is absolutely fine.
All right, excellent.
Damn, that's pretty good. That's
Yeah.
good money for
Start.
a
Well, it's a good system. Also, you know, you're not
It
far
is.
away from the church, so they can, even the ones that only last an hour, still have
Will
a
make
chance
it
to be used, especially if there's someone who really needs, like, you know, like a leg amputated. If they have this potion in there, then that's gonna, it's not gonna heal back the leg, but it's definitely gonna stop infections and things like that. So yeah, it's a everybody wins scenario.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I go back home. I skip.
Draco is less than amused by your happiness. It's a real it's a real good time. But he will also, when you're on the way back, he will order food from like a pretty fancy establishment on the way back in the high city and bring back enough for 2 other people. And he was trying to say, I don't care who has this. Someone can have this. You could give this to the child that's squatting in the basement. You can give it to Rakath. Give it to Voss. I don't really care.
accurate, honestly.
He believed the forgery document. He believes that you're a child.
Yeah.
You are a child squatting in the basement currently.
All
It's
right.
true. Just a very
I'll-
smart child.
I'll bring food to Rakath and the child.
Boss doesn't eat, he just meditates.
Boss is fine. He's busy.
Boss is busy.
Oh. Oh. What is this?
I don't know, but it's fancy.
It would be fancy food. It would be like actual genuine meat. You
That's
know?
very exciting.
It's like actual cow. It's a very small amount.
wow.
But there's a very small amount of legitimate cow.
This is fantastic.
This is very good.
Rakath is cutting it very ginger. Like, he has very proper, like, culinary manners with regards to cutting food. He's got
And
the
then
fork
Rofi.
in the left hand, knife in the right hand. Just very casually cutting the very small sliver of beef before eating it.
Rofi just wants to eat it as fast as possible so he can get back to work. He enjoys it, but he enjoys it his way.
That's fair. I also
The
eat food
other-
very fast and enjoy it.
That's
I
fair.
inhale my food.
I
do.
do in real life.
Terrible habit.
It's horrible. Then
Mhm.
ain't gonna change.
Yeah. I grew up as the runt of my family. I knew I needed to eat fast or it was gone. So
You're like a chicken.
So I am going to be doing something also utilizing my background, but slightly different, because I am part of the torturers of Narashiro.
Yeah,
I'm going to find some work.
The official, unofficial Torturers Guild.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if they have extra contracts out for doing some torturing to try and make some money that way. My usual rates.
What are his usual rates?
It depends.
It will be a work check.
Yep, it depends on whether or not they're looking for hourly torturing. You know, if it's a more extended
It's
contract, or if they're
it's
looking for a per person.
It's a multi-purpose thing. Just give me a Torturer's Tools check. There's a lovely guide for how much money you make from doing work.
Sure.
Because you have some renown in the Torturers Guild because they actually know each other.
Yeah.
As guilds go, you're actually quite closely knit because
There aren't many of us.
There aren't many of you, and also
Yeah.
similar to the Executioners Guild, which also exists in this city, you have a bit of a black mark against you just by your existence, where Drow society admits that you are very valuable, but you shouldn't really be a part of society.
Yes.
So similarly, and which means you actually hang out with the Executioners Guild all the time. Your common haunt would be a tavern/game bar, essentially, a bit lower in the city. It's one of those ones where when the city was in a different stage of development, it was like part of the water system, so it's got all the spires in the middle of it and things like that. Big open place.
It's got a nice ambiance.
It does. There's some screaming in the distance.
The sort of place you don't want to piss anyone off.
Yeah, but if you're friends with everyone here, it's like a lovely place.
Yeah.
I would probably bring Rofi with me if he would come, and also Yuna if she would come as well, just so I have a little bit more clout with people. Not for Rofi.
Yeah,
Rofi
you know,
just
like
can-
you go there to kind of be like, oh, I'm interested in some work again, and then like the next time you come back, you bring them. Feel free. William, do you have a good idea for the name of this place?
Oh, ooh, good question.
Because it needs a good name.
It does. I feel like it needs to be something that's ironic in the way that it's handled.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It like the Hanged Man is pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. We can think on that another time.
We'll talk on it. We'll talk.
Yeah, would you be willing to visit a dodgy tavern?
I mean,
It's a dive bar, guys.
It's a
What
dive
if he
bar
wouldn't
and
care about, like,
arcade.
the fact it's dodgy. He would just come.
Yeah.
If he has to come, he'll come.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yuna?
Yeah, I can come. As long as it wouldn't take too much time.
Lovely. It won't. I'm just meeting some old friends. You know how it is. You know the boys. You know Roger.
Roger is like
I didn't realize
a
you had other friends.
Yes, of course. He's an executioner.
Roger is like a regular human who's just down here. He's just completely regular. He's like, yeah, I grew up in Goldport. Father was a sailor, mother was a tanner. It's funny how life is, you know. And he's just out like a big old axe. Oh, Roger.
Don't worry, Yuna. I don't like any of them nearly as much as I like you. You will always be my favorite.
Well, of course. I never would have thought anything else.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know that you are, of course, my favorite. And I'm so happy you're coming with me.
You walk
I'm
in,
so excited.
and almost immediately as you're walking in, you see someone flipping over a Traitor's Run table, and the pieces scatter everywhere.
You shouldn't have neglected your priestess.
I like knew that joke was coming the second you leaned in. There's it's one of those places where there's a big wall of kegs and bottles and things like that, but it's not really wine served here. It's just ales and moonshine. No in between, one way or the other. They do the yeah.
Here's a question: would Tanuma have ever been drinking anywhere near her labs? Because if not, Rofi probably hasn't drunk like alcohol.
She's not actually a big drinker, so no.
Yeah. So Rofi probably has never had alcohol because he wouldn't have bothered.
Something of note here, Ragath, the moonshine here is called Pyromancer's Delight. It is exceptionally flammable.
How much is a bottle?
I'm gonna say 4 gold because it is
4
useful.
gold? I
Well,
will
of course,
take 2
I am
bottles.
not going to create an extremely flammable moonshine, not knowing that it'll be used. But there's literally
The Pyromancer's Delight? That's
Yeah.
what it's called?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's literally people, you know, will pour lines of it, set fire in it, try to drink it before their face burns, stuff like that. You know.
Oh my god!
I imagine Rakath probably has the record for that, in all likelihood.
Gone all the way down the bar.
Yeah, yeah. Given his ability to not feel pain whatsoever.
One of those times you looked up and was like,
I will take
yeah.
2 bottles, by the way.
It's also weird for Yuna, a woman of quite high standing, to be in a place of drinking and revelry where there's no music. There's no bard, there's no music coming in from somewhere across the street. Right? Your favorite cafe often has street performers and things like that. This is just the sound of people drinking, laughing, burping. because there's a lot of non-drow here, which is a bit weird. But these are two professions where non-drow can excel in this society. So it is a little bit
right.
This is one of the
so we
places
say.
that Rakath has a little bit of celebrity status too. Just a little.
You come here, people are like, hey! It's like cheers.
I'm gonna play a game.
Yes.
There's run that's going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I will be standing beside you while you do this because
I know
there is.
exactly what you're gonna do as well.
I also know exactly what you're gonna do. You rolled a portent of 3. You're giving it to the other person. I know that's what you're doing.
There's a great thing as a DM to like semi-ignoring portents and just getting surprised.
Yeah.
So the person you end up playing against is actually a Chitin, which you might know. Well, let me show you a picture.
Yeah.
They
adorable.
are
Cool.
essentially spider people.
Hello there.
I love these guys.
They can excel in this kind of territory because they have some links to Drow society, but they have absolutely, not proper enough. But if you serve a purpose, maybe you were blessed by the goddess. Maybe it isn't a horrible mutation. So you're playing Trader's Run against this mandibled, many-eyed, skittering person who, like, he's thinking, and then another arm, like, just reaches out from the hood and moves a piece and things like that. And he loses and is like, I have no idea how I lost this. I was using my priestesses.
You were too focused on the priestess, I think.
It's not all about the priestess.
They still
You see
much to learn.
Your samurai piece there. He's still at the start. It's neglect again.
Just one of the eyes looks down.
Oh.
You'll end up... Yeah, incredibly gross, but, very polite. You'll end up winning 10 gold, usually the amount Trader's
cool.
Run is paid for, if you people have money, and people have money. It's... the coins are a little bloody.
That's okay.
They always are.
On that.
Yeah.
Good.
Why I put them in my pocket.
Yep.
The floors here are a little sticky. As well.
It's not drinks. It's blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dried blood.
Well, it's just
Mostly
unsanitary.
Yeah.
Anything else
makes
anyone
this
would
place
want to
sound
do?
like it's sanitary?
Yeah. No.
I mean, I'm gonna just mingle a little bit.
Just mingle, just getting.
Spend
to
some
know
time
people.
chatting with Roger.
Roger's like, did you hear that execution the other day? They executed a dinosaur. I don't understand it, but they did it.
Oh, you mean like one of these?
And I'm gonna pull out the raptor head that I have in my bag right now.
Oh no, it was much bigger than that. No.
Put the raptor head back in
You
the
want
bag.
to know what's ridiculous? The War Strider can do executions, and because she does flips and has fancy tricks, she doesn't get a black mark against her name. But Roger,
Well, yes, she is, I guess you would say above the mark with that, but,
the rich get richer.
yes, well, that's not all bad. Sometimes when the rich get richer, there's more trickle-down. You see, there's this thing called trickle-down economy. I heard about it recently from a particular drow who was talking on the streets.
It's very worrying in a culture with a lot of slavery.
Rakath has an 8. He has an 8 wisdom.
I know! No, it's perfectly in character. It's just worrying.
Yeah.
There's something of note. When you're kind of having these conversations and you're playing games and just talking to people, or just enjoying a slightly too big glass of moonshine, they're very generous.
I just want to see what
Do
happens.
you want to
there.
do a Constitution save? Please do.
At disadvantage. Oh, I'm out.
Oh,
Murphy's out.
he is asleep.
He's
asleep
asleep
on the
little man.
table. There's the drool puddle is like I described the shadelings. It's like shiny black drool on the table. That is hilarious.
First time drinking. He out.
Yeah. A samurai walks into the tavern, full arms and armor, noticeably because Voss pointed this out last week. In the dark greyish stony blue armor is denoted of someone who works directly for the Daimyo's estate. The helmet is off and in one hand, and she has a bit of an entourage of a few guards who are not samurai, but wearing the same kind of armor.
Rakath will stand up. This is kind of his home turf a little bit more than Yuna's in this case. Normally he'd let Yuna speak, but in this case he's going to step forward and hands behind his back, walk forward.
She will walk forward a few steps. She will actually straight up hand the helmet, and the helmet has that almost faceless design that the other ones did, off to someone else. The armor's very well made. Noticeably, because this is the kind of thing Rakath pays attention to, seemingly doesn't have a weapon on her. She has a shield, but you don't see a big old sword, you don't see a bow or anything like that, but she has a shield. And she will take a few steps forward. She noticeably glances at Yuna and an unconscious little darkling. And then looks over to Rakath.
Spinning around at the bar stool.
I brought 2 children to a dive bar. What did I expect, really? Honestly.
I will also cast Detect Thoughts. Just so that
It's a scheme!
Yeah.
No one expects the Tabescos cartel.
She seems surprised to see you, but glad to see you. And Rakath as well, actually. Seems to know who you are. And we'll kind of stop, a few paces before Rakath stops. And we'll glance over. She's an adult drow. The hair is kind of down and up, and there's a few small scars. But other than that, nondescript drow, I suppose. And she will glance back to Yuna and then back to you, and will say, "I presume that you two are of House Tabescos. I've heard of a strange creature that works as their torturer."
Yes, then you assume correctly. That would be me. They call me Rakath.
I'll wave.
I've heard that the Lady of House Tabescos has quite potent magical abilities, especially in dealing with the minds of those who are lesser.
Yuna,
Yes?
I think we might have some work.
She will smile slightly at that. Like, it's quite convenient, actually. I was going to be going to House Tabescos physically in the morning, but finding you here is... well, you know what the lady says. Blessings of the goddess come in all shapes and forms, even yours. My name is Captain...
Cursed form.
My name is Captain Kato. I am here on behalf of the Daimyo, researching a surge in forbidden aether crystal distribution.
Oh.
Interesting. And I assume you have at least one lead before you've come to us, as I need someone to work on.
Of course.
Excellent.
But if the full might of me and my entourage were to march into a place, we would simply kill all of them, and corpses give very few answers.
Ooh, I have
I can
heard.
get answers from corpses.
Yes, I've. Yuna was telling me this the other day. You can actually, if you know a very specific type of magic, you can get answers from corpses.
I'm working on it.
She nods, but noticeably looks a little displeased at the idea. But she nods and says, "Well, I am glad that I have been recommended to you. That the powers and skills and talents that you have may prove quite useful. This is not the most appropriate place to discuss business. May I meet you at your house tomorrow?"
Yes, I think that would be lovely. There's a back entrance down to the, my quarters. Best place for that kind of business.
Or you can come in through the front. Whatever one you want.
Really, it's up to you. We're very open.
She just has that very kind of like blank drow
You'd
face
like
for a
Voss.
few moments. I have heard that
You'd
you
like-
walk with a unique samurai. Yes.
I think you two would get along quite well. You have that same look on your face whenever I talk too much.
Well, Book of Elos 102, degeneracy is the rot of the spirit.
I'm sorry, what was that?
She called me a degenerate.
Book of Elos, do you not know your scripture? You are
Of course
young.
I do.
You might need another century
Yeah.
to learn all of the words of the goddess. But as long as you remember, Souls of Ascension 2, our purpose is to the throne. And on that, I will be meeting with you in the next morning. She will.
Rakath will bow very deeply, like to the point where it's obnoxious. But clearly, like, in a way that is deferent, but also just like, okay, calm down, buddy.
She nods and she turns before you're like fully bowed.
There's a long way to go.
She'll yeah, exactly. Imagine it being quite slow. She'll take her helmet from one of the soldiers behind her, kind of affix it and leave. And someone at the bar's like, "You did not even buy a drink. Just used our air."
If you've ever seen one of those like stair climber things that like allows an old person to sit down and then it slowly
Stair
goes
lift.
up the stairs, stair lift. That's how slow Rakath's bow is.
That's exactly what I imagined.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Is that what you're hoping for, Raka?
Work? Yes. I've been meaning to get my hands a little bit more bloodied. It's been too long. Eh. Isn't that right, Roger? It's always too long.
Roger is asleep.
Oh. He never could handle his liquor.
Oh, you know what? He's asleep. I'm curious. I'm gonna turn my detect thoughts to a sleeping person.
To Roger?
What happens? Yeah.
Oh, he's having a great time. He's a
Okay.
little, he's drunk.
He's
Detect thoughts on a
field
drunk
to go
person
for.
is a bit of a process, is a bit of an experience. It's a bit of a swaying sensation. Yeah, he's
Take a
having
second
nice
hand
time.
drop.
Yeah.
Alright. I'm gonna pick Rofi up in one arm and my doll in the other. Walk out with him.
Ugh. Every time I forget that doll exists is a blessing and a
Yeah.
curse. One of these days it's gonna defuse a bomb or something, you know, it's gonna be useful. You have a familiar with hands.
That's terrifying.
Valuable.
Blech.
Yeah.
Gross. Yeah, that was my big thing, was to get work.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, so
Alright.
you head back. Anything else anyone would want to do, like tonight or in the morning?
Yeah, I need to hang out with Nero and
Aww.
apologize for being so distant with him.
Offer him a position in the dungeon. I have extra work.
Then you'd have to get another
I mean,
slave, and then he'd get jealous.
He's busy as it is.
But I mean, think of all the cleaning and the void stuff that we could do with an extra set of hands down there.
But yeah, I'm basically just going to tell him that, I couldn't keep Torm safe, so now I'm second guessing if I can keep you safe. And I'm just very sad about the whole thing.
Nero is also sad about the whole thing. Nero is a little emotional, little sad sack sometimes.
A little sad sack.
But yeah, he's glad for the attention, at the very least.
Awesome.
That's nice. That's pleasant.
Yeah. And then I think the rest of my downtime is just going to be working on my magic item, if we have any more, because apparently we're taking on a quest.
Yeah, you might not get a full weekend. Depends.
A full weekend, yeah.
Whenever I do have additional time, I am actually going to be starting to try and hunt for a very specific magic item.
That is downtime.
That is downtime. No. But when we have downtime.
Yeah, when we have downtime, Roshi is working on that the runes and the automaton research.
That was one more thing. The Sing Ring, is that what they're called?
Yes.
I'm gonna put like an advertisement out on there, looking for other soul collectors. There are any.
Wow.
And I'm looking to trade souls.
Okay.
I'm looking for if I can get more specific, I'm looking for a Fomorian soul or something of the equivalent, and I'm willing to trade other rare souls in exchange.
Very niche market. I'm sure
soul Craigslist. Okay. That's
soul Craigslist.
I thought trading magic scrolls on the Craigslist was weird. This is another step.
The whole other level.
But it also totally makes sense. It's what would happen. There's no doubt about it. You don't get a response, and so far there is no necromancer
no other soul
club.
collector.
Yeah, but you can kind of put a message out there. For people, I suppose. You just have to start a little soul collectors club, because that sounds way less illegal.
That's what I want.
And you know what? We can come back to that after a quick little breakerino. So, we're back in a few moments. Yeah.